Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook video updated on Tuesday the 6th of March. Now it's a chilly theme that continues through this weekend and beyond. Temperatures staying below freezing, mountain terrain staying extensively frozen and snow covered. Brief incursions of milder air trying to come in from the south, but I think even across the hills of England and Wales, often still staying at sub-zero on the higher tops. And an unsettled theme with low pressure in charge looks to be the story well into next week. So some further snow to come at times, and could be significant accumulations on top of what's already there during the next week to 10 days. Just in the short term, this is the sequence through Wednesday, and this picks out the general precipitation, a mix of rain, sleet, snow and hail in places. Rain mostly just confined to lower slopes though. Across west and southwestern parts of the Scottish Highlands could be some frequent areas of snow. The remnants of the snow from Tuesday, having pushed further north, could just hang on in the far north early in the day, and a few showers scattered across England and Wales. The next feature though tries to come in from the southwest through the later part of Wednesday evening, and overnight a wraparound of a front could just cross central northern England, could well give some snowfall down to quite low levels across the Peak District, the Pennines and the hills of Wales too. Bit of uncertainty just how far north that gets, but could give another covering of snow to fairly low levels. Will tend to break up into scattered showers into Thursday daytime. Now this chart shows you snow depth, and this is over a given 6-hour period as we go forwards. Keep an eye on the time in the top of the screen, and it just shows really where the bullseyes and hotspots of snow are going to be. Don't worry too much about the absolute numbers. The model only has a loose understanding of what's absolutely there in terms of mountain terrain, but it gives us a good idea. This is through Wednesday evening and night. You'll see the snow reappears across Wales, the Peak District and the Pennines. As you run on through Thursday, it just eases away a little bit. It will become more confined back to higher levels as lower slopes begin to thaw once again. Although in some parts of Cumbria and the Pennines, where there's substantial drifts, that does stay in place at almost valley level. Running on through the days ahead then towards the weekend, you'll just notice how some snow re-emerges again Friday night into Saturday, and we'll come to that in some charts in a moment. That's as fronts push their way northwards ahead of an area of low pressure trying to drive north out of Biscay through this weekend, which could in places give some significant snowfalls over many hours into the weekend. Now these are your temperatures, 850 millibar level on this chart, and that's around 4,500 feet at this stage. The numbers on the white background is the height in decameters, we call it. Add a zero, you've got it in meters, so that 120 is 1,200 meters. A bit lower than it has been in some recent times because general pressure is lower in any case. So if you go on over a few days, at that level you're around -4, -5, so that's what you can expect on the top of the higher Scottish mountains. You'll be around -3 on Snowdon summit and -2, -3 for much of the Lake District higher tops as well. Heading on over a few days, not a great deal changes. Slightly colder air by a degree or so maybe just comes in place across Scotland and northern England, but nothing too dramatic. The main change or attempted change is as fronts come northwards. That's through then Friday into Saturday. That's the early hours of Saturday. And that's the risk of some snow on the leading edge of a front that comes north, but I think temperatures tend to rise for Wales and the Pennines as we go through this weekend. So what falls initially will all then turn back to rain, and a thaw will set in up to fairly high levels, maybe even towards the Lake District as we go to the weekend. But notice Scotland stays in the colder air. You're still around -2, -3. It might be a degree or so colder even on the higher tops throughout the weekend. And the story continues with temperatures just maybe nudging down a degree or so back across England and Wales through into early next week. And just to skip on over a few days, you'll see how the idea is that fairly cold air is still in place, and occasional incursions of much colder air not too far still from northern Scotland. The overall message then is higher terrain, particularly in Scotland, is staying extensively frozen. We'll just run through the synoptic charts just briefly over the next couple of days ahead. There was Wednesday, we've got low pressure in charge. Winds fairly light for most places, could be blustery on a few tops, but rarely more than around 20-25 miles per hour. And it's those areas of showers as we've talked about. It's still quite murky and rather a damp atmosphere even at lower levels in Scotland, so not a great picture for visibility. Clouds shrouding many of the mountains most of the day. A few breaks, a few areas may just come in between cloud layers at times. That's Thursday, and there was the frontal system that just passed through overnight, giving that risk of snow to the peaks, Pennines and Snowdonia. Broadly, low pressure still in charge, not too much wind across Scotland, something of a west or southwesterly for England and Wales, a trough coming in from the Irish Sea producing some showers, quite heavy in places with some hail, isolated rumble of thunder is possible, and snow coming down to low levels where those showers occur. For Scotland, slow-moving areas of showers may be confined to coastal districts, inland areas. You may get away with it for much of the day and stay dry, but it could still be rather murky. That wind very light, so not much moving around, so what's in existence doesn't go too far in terms of low cloud. And that story continues into Friday. Could just be a period where winds strengthen even towards gale force as that low just reorganises itself, and just notice the closeness of the isobars south of Scotland and north of England could just bring some stronger winds for a period, changing quite quickly and detail somewhat uncertain. It's still rather unsettled, the atmosphere is fairly unstable, so showers will develop, most frequent around western coastal areas, some hail, some snow coming down to low levels. But across England and Wales, a chance that it's an essentially dry day in between weather systems really before fronts to the south start to encroach northwards. And that's that risk of snow developing then through overnight into Saturday for Wales, the Peak District, the Pennines, and then extending northwards into Saturday daytime. How quickly it gets into Scotland is uncertain. If it doesn't get there until late in the day, then it could be a fine day with something a little bit brighter in place. Some low-level fog and mist and murk may still be around though, and just watch those easterly winds strengthening on the leading edge of these fronts. The snow across England and Wales turning to rain as those fronts move further northwards, but a good many hours of whiteout conditions with cloud extensively down at two very low levels. That's the threat for Saturday. Just watch your local details and timings. Now, there's the risk of gales through this weekend across the mountains. Not every model chart has things exactly the same. This particular one is a bit more active. The previous chart we just saw was a flabbier area of low pressure, essentially with lighter winds. But there's the risk that it's a deeper and more active system, giving it more widespread gales. And really, there's a conveyor belt of small areas of low pressure coming across the Atlantic, tracking well to the south as the jet stream stays further south than average for the time of year, running areas of low pressure towards Spain, Portugal and Biscay. Broadly, low pressure stays nearby for us. We need to watch if anything further just spins in from the southwest and gives it a repeat situation of a low pressure system coming back up from the south. So either way, it's going to be that rather showery mix, some rain, sleet and snow, and the risk of another snowfall event at some point if low pressure just re-engages from the south once again, which may eventually pave the way for something less cold or maybe even milder generally later in the month, but that seems a long way off at the moment. So for now, we're still talking about cold and wintry conditions with further snowfalls at times. We'll update you in that longer range outlook in the next planning video updated on Friday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.